Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
See, I don't know about y'all, but like for real, I don't mind being talked about. My problem come in when they start making stuff up. So you can talk about me all you want. It is what it is. You know, it's either I did it or I didn't. I said it or I didn't. Whatever the case is, I don't care. I let whoever think whatever, feel whatever. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? But it's the making up part. It's the lying part. It's the adding on to part that always get me. I don't mind being talked about. It's when y'all start lying that bothers me.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, happy Manic Monday to all you beautiful people out there on YouTube. What a bunch of exciting stuff going on. A couple things that I am going to address, and then once I address them, we're not going to really address them again. As many of you know, I'm actively in a lawsuit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I want to make it very clear to my audience. This is a serious lawsuit. This is not a game. This is not a joke. This is not for a click or a view. I'm listening to people analyze this. I don't know how it got out. I'm not sure if people did a public records request, which it is public record. But what I can tell you is that while they're over there joking and thinking a judge is going to laugh this out of a courtroom, once she speaks to a real attorney, I'm pretty sure she's going to understand to the gravity of this lawsuit. And I think the people, other people are going to also have to come to Jesus with how important and to the gravity of this lawsuit. Just because you think it's okay or YouTube forces us to sue these people doesn't make it any less illegal to do the kind of conduct on here. This thing that you can say, oh, well, this is just YouTube stuff. No, I didn't subscribe to this YouTube stuff. When I signed that contract with YouTube, this is not what I subscribed to. This is not what was in my contract with them. So at the end of the day, if anybody thinks that this is not a legit lawsuit or this doesn't have merit, is a fool. And all those attachments to that lawsuit, that's the evidence that substantiates the claims. Those elements that you read in that lawsuit at the beginning, those are elements I must meet in order to prove my claim. Those attachments to that lawsuit are that proof. This joke about how these are posts, that's libel. Her videos are slander. And those are things she's going to have to address at some point. So I digress. It is a legal matter. I'm not going to be discussing legal matters here on YouTube, but what I can tell you is so far, every legal analysis I've heard, this is why you don't listen to people that have no education, that have no understanding of the law. They're looking like idiots and they're making their case even more stronger for me. My suggestion is to get a real attorney and take this seriously, because I'm telling you, for $150,000, you better be taking it very damn serious. Because even then, oh, it's only $50,000. No, honey, you got 3 claims against you for $50,000 apiece. You better wake up and realize how serious this is. And if you think that your countersuit, something I said in March after a year of you beating me over the head, you think that's okay? Okay. You think a judge is going to laugh me out of the courtroom? Good luck. Good luck. To all the Google attorneys out there, we'll see, right? We'll see. We'll see at the end of the day. But one other thing I do want to point out is once this goes through, I want everybody to realize that this lawsuit with Crude was never a joke. And he lied to his audience. He lied to each and every one of you. I'm not a frivolous lawsuit suer, never have been and never will be. Every case that I have brought has had merit. I've had standing, and I hate to break the news to you. The majority of my cases, I have won. This is not a joking matter. This is not a laughing matter. This is a very serious matter. And no matter what they tell you out there, the bottom line is, how am I a frivolous lawsuit suer? How many lawsuits have I brought? How many? 2? That's what constitutes somebody? I don't think so. Not in the eyes of a court. But again, I would suggest you get an attorney and get off YouTube. Get off the YouTube attorneys. Because, honey, let me break it to you. This is about as serious as a heart attack as it's going to get. Getting on with the morning. Good morning, Sonia, twin mom. Sonia, and by the way, grifting, you don't even know what's in a lawsuit, but I'm a liar. And now you're collecting money for your defense. I think you need to talk to an attorney, babe. Just saying, before you get yourself into a lot more trouble. Just saying. Good morning, Sonia, twin mom, Southern Granny Wolf, Sheila, Z.A., Patty G, Madonna, it's nice to see you in the house. Karen Davis, good morning from across the pond. It's nice to see you. Lady O, oh, Lady O. I almost want to make a song. Oh, Lady O, oh, Lady O. Okay, maybe not with my alto voice. Lady soprano. I don't know. We'll see. Go girl. Oh, Lord. Elliot, it's nice to see you. Check it out. I got my name fixed back to my real name. It was about time. Well, it's nice to see you here, Elliot. Little messy. I think we can all identify with that. Good morning. Raylene, Mike Stevens. Stacy, good morning. Cool Gamer. And just to let you know, as we move forward through all this, this is going to be the last address that I discuss with it. And I just felt that the need that we need to discuss this because I listened to that and I'm just shaking my head saying, shut the, like you're going against me. Like, shut up. Like, shut up. Like, you guys are like really digging yourself into a major hole. And they're just uneducated. They're just truly uneducated. And it's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just, wow. Easy E, nice to see you. Miss Stacy. Miss Potty Mouth in the house. Have you guys missed me? Because I have missed you. I have missed you. And I wanted to know, did you guys realize I wasn't here Saturday? Did you guys notice I wasn't here Saturday? And I only came on yesterday just to tell all the fathers, happy Father's Day. Heck, I didn't even know what the heck I was going to talk about. I was just like, I don't feel like discussing this. This is going to take too long. I don't feel like discussing this. This is going to take too long. What can I talk about? And it's like, okay, well, it's Father's Day, you know? And I got to spend time with my stepfather, which is always nice because I never really get to see him much. So, but I got on the inversion table. If you guys know, I have been having some horrible, I pulled something in my back. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I pulled something in my back, and not only did I pull it in my back, I pulled it in my back pretty stinking good. You know, I mean, today's Monday. I hurt myself. I woke up last Monday, a week ago, this morning, and could barely move out of my bed. Like, I stayed in bed all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and then by Tuesday evening got up a little bit just to get out of the bed, stretch. And Wednesday I was in pain. Thursday I was in pain. Friday I was so I was over at Mama Bullhorn's, and she's got, you know, that little machine, you know, that upside down machine. You kind of lock your feet in and then you turn it upside down, and the gravity of your weight is supposed to help pull naturally your body, you know, so your vertebrates and everything can, you know, whatever. So I get on that. I'm like, okay, you know, I ate. I didn't get on it right away because I was worried if I got on it. I don't know what made me get on it at that time. I probably should have stayed there for a little bit longer before I got on the stupid table. But I decided to get on it and flip upside down. And I'm trying to, you know, really, like, I feel like the left side is like jammed, you know, like when you get a finger jam, how uncomfortable that feels. So that's what it feels like on my left side, you know, and my left side hip region area, right? So I get on there, I'm upside down, and, you know, I mean, I'm getting a head rush. Like, I'm getting a head rush. And I don't know how to explain it, but like every bit of blood is rushing to my brain as I'm upside down, just dangling by my feet. You know, I've got a board under my back, but pretty much dangling from my feet. And I can't get myself back up. So you know, thank God my stepdad didn't go too far. So he flipped me back up. And he's like, you just need to sit there for a second. I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, I'm like, woo. Like, I'm getting on there. I feel a little drunk. I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? So I sit there for a few minutes, and then the pain just starts, that it didn't help. It was very painful. And so I ended up having to go home because I didn't want to get to a point where I was going to have a pain attack at my mom's and then not be able to drive. So it wasn't too bad. So I went ahead and came home yesterday. I laid down for about an hour, and then I got up and went shopping. I went shopping. Oh, I got to show you guys this. Hold on. Let me take my camera off. Hold on, I got to show you guys this. As you guys know, let me take this, the background off real quick, the virtual background. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so you guys got to see this. So this is one of my favorites right here. You will never influence the world by trying to be like it. So I got this. I love this. This is like a velvety. It's just really soft. It's like the velvet type of material, and then it's printed on the velvet. And you can see my hand. It moves the velvet. But talk about it, right? You will never influence the world by trying to be like it. So I thought that message was very, very powerful. I'm not quite sure where it's going to go in here, but I'm getting a lot of coffee decor for in here. So when we do, we're going to be, doing some different stuff back here. But this is by far my favorite. Right? Coffee. Because murder is wrong. Right? And then I got one more. Let me show you. And I picked this up yesterday too. I got this too, right there. Coffee, a warm, delicious alternative to hating everybody every morning for forever, right? So we got some work to do in the office. But we're working on it. I promise you. That's what I hate. I'm doing good. And then boom, it reminds me it's there. So it's just, this is all going to be back here. Not quite sure how we're going to do it. And of course, I got the frames for all of our, the original posters out in front of the laundry house. I finally got the frames for them. So those are going to be going up in the office as well. So we're just doing some stuff around the office just to let you guys know. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I just wanted you guys to know what was going on here at the home front. There we go. Now we're back. So what are we going to talk about today? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, with the Bryan Kohberger case. For those that have no idea, well, let me just see here. Where's my language of letting go? I haven't even we haven't even cracked the language of letting go book in quite some time. I don't even know where it's at. It must still be in my room somewhere. I don't know where the heck it would be. Oh, here we go. Let's get back to some good stuff before we get into the Bryan Kohberger stuff. I feel like we need to be energized, and I don't even know what today has for us because I haven't read the book in a while, and that's probably a problem. Today is the 19th, and the 19th it says, relax enough to face reality when life twists and turns. All right. What a great message already, right? Let me just get this where I can read it. And sometimes in life, no matter how deeply we intend to make the best decisions possible for ourselves, things happen. Marriages end, jobs turn sour, friends wane. For reasons outside of our control or understanding, the situation twists and turns into something other than what we bargained for. Have you been waiting for the situation to revert to what it was or originally was, or what you hoped it would be when you got in it? Are you telling yourself that there's something wrong with you, when the reality is the situation has changed into something other than what you thought it was? Things often don't go as smoothly as we planned. Sometimes we need to endure it and get through the rough spots, but I'm talking about those grindingly difficult moments when life suddenly twists on us. These are the times we need to quit torturing ourselves. Let go of what we thought would happen. If life has twists on you, don't turn on yourself. Don't try to make things the way they were. Come up to speed. Return to now. Let yourself accept the new situation at hand. The road isn't always a straight course, sometimes even a path with heart unexpectedly twists and turns. God help me relax and trust myself enough to deal with reality, not fantasy, of what I hoped it would be. What a great message today. What a great message today. So as I'm thinking about the Bryan Kohberger case, and I'm thinking about, what information are we missing? What information are we missing with this case? We've got the judge still hasn't, sorry guys, here we go. The judge still hasn't decided on the fate of the cameras, on the fate of the non-dissemination order. He's really taking his time to prepare an order. So we've had the weekend. We haven't seen a whole lot come in from Bryan Kohberger's attorneys. I checked this morning, but again, the courts aren't open. So we might not see any new documents uploaded until around 10 or 11 if they came in over the weekend. I don't know. I know around 4:30, 5:30 every day, I always check because that's about 2 p.m. their time. And I notice that that's when the documents are uploaded for that day, And so I was going through a lot of stuff because we've been discussing the non-dissemination order. We've been discussing, the law. We've been discussing the statutes that are listed in their arguments and in their pleadings, like with the defense's response or the state's response to whatever it is. They list, statutes in which they're relying upon to make that assertion. And we're going and looking into those laws to see if what they're saying it says. And we're finding in some cases that it's not really saying what they're trying to get it to say. Even with the non-dissemination order, many people have, got hiccups. Many people have asked me, well, why does it matter? Why does it matter? If people can talk, why does it matter what's in that non-dissemination order? Because we, as the public, as the taxpayer, as the boss of this country, we give people certain rights and certain discretions that they're able to use. But when they use them, they have to follow rules in order to use them. They just can't willfully and encompass everything in these orders, these non-dissemination orders. The rules for using these non-dissemination orders, the rules that govern the judges on their discretion in using these. They say you're more than welcome to use these. However, they cannot be overbroad. They cannot be vague. There can't be less restrictive means available. And it has to be narrowly drawn, right? It has to be narrowly drawn. So those are the rules that the judges are required to use when they use this broad discretion to put these non-dissemination orders in place. A lot of the stuff that we've been discussing here on this channel has been directed for the reason these non-dissemination orders are being put in place and are so strict. And, we were learning early on that there was leaks coming out of the prosecution's office. I went and I reviewed how many interviews Bill Thompson has provided. I've got one of his interviews up here. As a matter of fact, from some research I was doing last week. There it is, right? I was doing last week. Now we can play it. It's most likely going to.
At this.
See if we can go back.
Mr. Thompson, good morning to you.
Here's the
Good morning.
interview.
Police there have called this a targeted, isolated attack. Are investigators looking for a particular suspect or suspects this morning?
And remember, let me go back here and turn this off. And remember, this was the interview that got Bill Thompson in, a significant amount of water, hot water. Remember, this is when they had to come out with the update for the press conference saying, because he said that this was a targeted attack, and they had to come out and clarify. They didn't know if the house was the target or if somebody else was in the house that was a target. They're not sure who the target. Remember that whole thing? This was from this interview with Bill Thompson. Now, mind you, Bill Thompson has no problem here talking. He only had his problem when Steve Gonsalves and his attorney started talking. All of a sudden, they became witnesses. All of a sudden, they're spreading misinformation, right? Where is the victim's rights in all of this. But we're going to get to that in just a second. Let's listen to this.
At this point, the investigators are looking at all possibilities. They don't have a specific suspect. They're continuing to work on that.
Do you believe that whomever did this is still at large?
Well, yeah.
Yes, we have no one in custody, and the police have been unable to identify who's responsible for these homicides.
Is it possible there's more than one suspect?
It certainly is possible. That's the purpose of the investigation. That's why we're really hoping for any information.
I want to just check something here while we're here. So this was on November 17th. This is when this interview came out. So this was 3 days after the murders. 3 days after the murders. Bill Thompson is the prosecution that's answering questions for the media. These are questions that he will later be prosecuting as the prosecuting attorney.
Information from the public that can help the investigators recreate everyone's activities Saturday night and early Sunday morning, and hopefully give them the leads, the information to identify who did this.
There's so many things about this case that are so hard to put together. Veteran police officers who arrived at the scene said it was one of the most horrific and gruesome scenes that they had ever seen. Yet somehow there were two roommates who were in the house who apparently didn't hear anything. What are the red flags you have there?
And we know now, this was 3 days after the occurrence happened, 2 days, about 48 hours after this massacre took place at that King Road residence. And, they didn't have a whole lot of information. But one thing that we can definitely state is that, yes, this was probably the most gruesome crime scene that they've ever had the experience of having to deal with or witness, so to speak, and I can imagine. And that's why we were so taken back when we realized that Bethany was there, that, they didn't call law enforcement until 11:58 in the morning, 8 hours after the attack, 6 to 8 hours after the attack.
And are those roommates considered persons of interest?
Well, anybody who might have knowledge is considered persons of interest at this point. As far as suspects, I don't believe so. The investigators continue to work hard trying to interview everyone who might have any information and hopefully figure out and identify what occurred and why and who's responsible.
As we understand the timeline, and we recognize that this is an investigation very much ongoing, the four came home, early in the morning, Sunday morning, let's say 1:45, 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. The 911 call didn't come until midday the next day. Does that raise any red flags for you? How do you explain that?
I think the investigators are trying to ascertain why there was a delay and what actually occurred.
We're here months later and still have no idea. Typically at this juncture, in most cases, especially high profile cases, we have at least the 911 call. They have withheld the 911 call from the public from the onset of this case.
What was heard, that's a question that's still out there. And I know they're working on that. We're trying to assist them as much as possible with obtaining search warrants for data and cell records and social media and anything that might help.
Do you know who called 911? Can you reveal who reported this?
I can't reveal who made the 911 call. The police do know who made the 911 call, though.
Obviously, we don't know anything about motive, but the mayor did initially refer to this crime as a crime of passion. Why did he say that?
I can't speak for Mayor Betke. He, to my knowledge, there is nothing to indicate that this has been determined to be a crime of passion. We know it's just a horrible crime, and 4 young lives have been lost.
And finally, initially, investigators and the police had said the community has nothing to worry about. Now they've sort of said, well, of course we should be vigilant because there is a suspect or suspects still at large. What is your message to that community this morning?
Well, I think the fact of the matter is that whoever is responsible for these murders is still at large. The investigators do not know who that person is. From what they've told my office, they believe that this was what they call a targeted attack and not just a random act of violence. And I think they tried to communicate that, but obviously that communication didn't work very well. It's unfortunate for any confusion in the community. People just need to be vigilant and help us however they can. We hope that we can identify who's responsible and get them off the streets as soon as we can.
We're sure your officers and prosecutors are working hard there. Thank you so much, Latah County Prosecuting Attorney Bill Thompson. Thank you for your time this morning, sir.
So again, he's able to have interviews. He's able to talk about the case. He's able to have information related to the case. He's able to disseminate that information to the public. But for whatever reason, when the Gonzalez starts speaking, they all of a sudden become some sort of witness in this investigation. And it's very frustrating for me to consider. But at the end of the day, they do, let me find it. Find my place on here. They do have victims' rights. And that's the problem that I think the courts are failing to acknowledge here, is that under the Idaho Constitution, victims' families and victims have rights. They actually have victims' rights in their Constitution, statutorily. And it's under Section 22 of Article 1 of the Declaration of Rights. And this is basically saying that a crime victim, as defined by statute, has the following rights: to be treated with fairness, respect, dignity, and privacy throughout the criminal justice process, to timely disposition of the case, to prior notification of trial court, appellate, and parole proceedings, and upon request, to the information about the sentence, incarceration, and release of defendants. To be present at all criminal proceedings. To be present, let me repeat that, to be present at all criminal proceedings, even those secret closed doors ones that shouldn't be happening. To communicate with the prosecution. Remember, the statement that we received from Shannon Gray is he hasn't received hardly any communication. It was the poorest communication with the prosecution he's seen in his 22 years of experience. To be heard upon request at all criminal justice proceedings, considering a plea of guilty, sentencing, incarceration, or release of the defendant unless manifest injustice would result. To restitution, to refuse an interview. This is an important one. To refuse an interview, ex parte contact, or other requests by the defendant or any other person acting on behalf of the defendant, unless request is authorized by law. So they have to literally go and request the judge to speak to them. Read pre-sentencing reports related to the crime. They're to the same rights in juvenile proceedings. Nothing in this section shall be construed to authorize a court to dismiss a case, to set aside or avoid findings of guilt or an acceptance of a plea of guilty, or to obtain appellate, habeas corpus, or other relief from any criminal justice or judgment. So they do have rights, and these are the rights that Shannon Gray has been hired to protect the family. So it's a right that they have in the statute. They've hired an attorney to protect that right. And that attorney is being hindered by the courts in being able to represent and protect the victim's rights. So again, these are the reasons many people keep asking, why do you believe that this non-dissemination order is going to be adjusted? It's because of all these things. They're not looking at all these items, all these statutes, these rights. Those are the things that they have to balance when making these decisions, and they're not. They're not. They're not taking them into consideration. And I think that is the reason why I have such heartburn when it comes to this non-dissemination order. I agree they have it. They have the discretion to use it, but they're not using it under the law, the way the law was designed. And I'm hoping that this will change soon, right? Will change soon. So I'm trying to decide how I'm going to do this particular live. Do we want to use the call-in or do we want to use the panel? Would you guys like to come up on panel and discuss this case, the Idaho 4? Do we have a new case? Oh, that reminds me. Let me go over to my emails real quick because we have something coming up here in the near future. We went over Daniel Robinson a few weeks ago. I realized that he wasn't found. You know, I had heard that he was found, and so we never covered it. And when I found out he had not been found, I was scratching my head. It's like, wait a minute, I remember hearing this. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to sneeze here. Give me just a second, guys. Excuse me, had to sneeze. I need to get some filters because every time this air conditioning kicks on, it makes me sneeze. So it's got to be something in my air conditioning or something on the fans that are blowing down. I don't know. Time to clean the fans too, right? Right? But long story short, Daniel Robinson was a geologist that was out doing working with a friend on some place in Arizona. And there was a lot of weird stuff that went on. I don't know how to take this case because I really haven't invested a lot of time in the research of this, but I can tell you just information on its face when I hear it just doesn't sound right. You know, I got a lot of questions related to the friend because there's several reasons why. Did they show up together? Why did they leave together? How did his friend not know about this wreck? How did this friend not see him, you know, stumbling off into the woods? How do we know that this gentleman here wasn't injured prior to that wreck? You know, that he was already in grave, you know, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. But there's definitely something. There's definitely something. So in true effort, there is a Candlelight Vigil that's going on June 23rd at sunset. I don't know how many people will actually be here, but this is the link. They're going to be doing this online. So here's the link to it, and they've already got it set up. So if you guys would like to participate in there, please go over there and subscribe to Please Help Find Daniel Robinson. Actually, let me go ahead and subscribe here now, and I'll go ahead and notify myself. And get yourself notified for the Unity Candlelight Vigil. And this is in honor of this young man. He still has not been found yet. And he disappeared under some suspicious circumstances. And I'm going to digress on, you know, pointing fingers and stuff like that, because again, I don't have anything to go on. I really haven't looked into this case. I've only brought his name and face up just for awareness factors. And that's about it. So just FYI, we're going to have this. If you'd like to watch, we will not be running this live stream, obviously, on our channel, but I will definitely be there. It's going to be in about 4 days. It's going to be at 8:30 at night, Eastern Standard Time. So I hope everybody will participate in bringing awareness to this young man that still has not been found. It's not looking good. I can tell you that. You know, when people disappear for years and they haven't talked to their family, the ending result, I mean, in a realistic, you know, a realistic situation, it's not going to end well, as many of us know. You know, even with like Maddie Kingsbury, we knew, her family knew before they found her that it wasn't going to end well, and it didn't. And we're not stupid over here. You know, we want to have hope. We want him to come home safely, but we are also a realistic channel where we talk about reality. And the amount of time that has gone on for this young man, the chances of him coming home to his family healthy and happy probably aren't, is not going to be the ending to this particular matter. I'm interested in knowing where he is. The lack of finding him is even more of a concern for me. The lack of finding him. You have a man that got into a wreck that was delusional or was not looking or thinking or appeared to be, you know, doing well, and then goes into woods and is never seen from again. That doesn't make sense. Even if he was having a heart attack or whatever, you would think that he would have been found wherever he was, that he couldn't have made it that far in there into the woods. So with the lack of finding him and him not being found as of yet with all those search parties, this is telling me there's something more there, that the story that we were provided, that he was in this wreck and that he stumbled into the woods and was never seen from again. I don't know if I believe that anymore. I don't know if that's accurate information, because in reality, if that had happened, he would have been found. He would have been found on the top of bushes. Now, the other thing is he could have toppled over and rolled and had stuff roll on top of him, and only time will help us find him. But for whatever reason, the amount of time he was out there, geology, digging, I just feel like there's something more here. I really do. And it's unfortunate. I don't know who his friend is, but naturally my attention's going to start looking at his friend. And it has to be. Now, I'd like to hear law enforcement saying his friend has been cleared, but I've looked and I haven't seen that. I have not seen that anywhere in any of these reports that his friend has been cleared of any involvement with his disappearance. I don't know, but it's sad. And we definitely want to, you know, support this family. So all of you, please don't forget to go over to, and let me find, I put the link in here, go sign up, support this family, and let's be a part of this Unity Candlelight Vigil on June 23rd. Did we ever decide how we were going to, hold on a second. Give me just a second. Have we decided what we're going to do? Are you opening the phones, or are we opening the phones, or we're going to have an open panel? The reason why I thought about the panel is because we haven't had an open panel on this channel in a really long time. And I used to enjoy having people up on panel talking about information related to these cases, not just this cases, but other cases that they may very well have you know, researched or studied, or they want to bring awareness to it. But anyways, I follow the case. It's sad. My heart hurts for his father. Yeah. And not only that, but we have our audience here has been really paying attention to this, because I've been getting several, you know, emails to cover this case. And I may, you know, it's been so long. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch up, but you know, it's something that we can definitely look into. I just on its face, there's some things that just don't sit right with me related to this case. It just doesn't. I don't know how to express it other than that, but it just doesn't. So signed up. Perfect. I love hearing that. Good morning. Tammy Sue, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Med Gas Guy. It's nice to see you in here. Real Slim Skittles, nice to see you as well. Sweetie Pie, Tammy Sue, I hope you're doing well today. Thank you. I see all of them. I'm get into the bless yous from me sneezing. I'm sorry for sneezing on you guys. I have the worst allergies. That is the one thing. And I still have a lot of those day allergy pills, and I used to take them religiously, like every day. And I haven't been taking, to be honest with you, won't tell my I haven't been taking my vitamins. I used to take my vitamins every single day. BS in the Alex. Oh, hold on. Let me put this up here and see who this is. This is the first time I heard that name. Let's see. Is this the mom that face looks familiar? She looks like she's the mom. Oh, okay, this is the mom. Video shows moments after teen mother dumps baby in hospital trash can. Yeah, that's a little crazy. I don't know how to handle these types of things. Like I don't know how to discuss, moms throwing kids in garbage cans and stuff like that. I don't know what would allow or make a teenager think that this is okay. But I haven't monitored this case, but let's just watch this. It's up. I mean, we got something here, so let's just see what it says. They're probably going to.
The baby's dead. She killed the kid.
Tense moments captured by police body cam video.
Like, how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What? 9 months? Something was crying.
So her mom is just finding out that she had a full-term baby, and she basically threw this child away, and it ended up dying. It's a very sad case. It's a very, very, very sad case for this young. She's going to have a long, hard life. I don't know how kids are able to hide this from parents. I mean, you're talking about a full-term birth. I mean, full term. Where are the, like, I know parents, I know kids can be very tricky. I know that they can hide a lot from parents when they want to, but your child was pregnant for 9 months and you didn't know? I know it happens, and I know that there's probably a parent or two in my chat right now that maybe this has happened with, but damn. Damn. Like, how do you not notice the behavioral changes? I mean, you're talking about a whole entire your emotions, moodiness, the ups and downs, the cravings. I mean, how do you miss all of it? The lack of tampons and pads? Like that, my mom, she took out the garbage. She knew. All right. She'd know something funky wasn't going on, right? So I don't know how all this transpired. I don't know how, I mean, you can see the shock on her mother's face, like how many it's a full-term baby. They're telling her mother that she just had a full-term baby, and she's like, 9 months? 9 months? I mean, she's a smaller, petite girl. So you would think that it's sad. It's sad. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I will pull this. Let me just try. I think I'm going to do invite. We haven't had guests up on here. I'll be checking you. You don't have to show your face online, but you have to show your face to get up. And if you don't want to show your face, you can just turn your camera off just like this, and you don't see your face. So I only need to see your face behind the scenes. So when you get here, I will address you. You'll hear me say, so-and-so, show me your face. And then I'll tell you to kill your camera if you don't want your face on the screen. If you do, great. I love my face on the screen, right? Right? You guys get to see me. You get to see my facial expressions. Some people aren't like that, and I respect it. So if you'd like to come, let me go over here and put this. Let me just go ahead and pin this at the top. Pin message. There we go. Okay. So we'll just say, okay, I can't talk. I look like crap. Well, all you have to do is be able to talk. It doesn't matter how you look. You're not going to be on the screen. So you're not going to be on the screen. Yeah, that's sad with her. I really am kind of in shock. I really, really, truly am in shock. So let me go over here to this because I want to read a couple things because there's something that we didn't have an opportunity to really go over yesterday. Let me see if I can find the state's objection. Is this the objection to stay? Second Amendment order governing. I've already read that. Oh, here it is. Here's one of the ones that just came through. Oh, I killed that. Hold on a second. Give me just a second, guys. I didn't realize I killed my screen. There we go. I'm scared of panels. You know what? Everybody says that they're scared of panels until they get up here. But once you start talking to me, you realize that you just kind of open up. Jazz King, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. So I'm scared of panels. Don't ever be scared of panels. They're fun. They're fun. And not only that, but on here, I know there's a lot of people that like to go up on panels, and I don't mind that. You know, if you want to be up on panel, I'll put you up on panel. But I have a way of just putting this right here on there so they can hear you, but they won't see you. So it's up to you. Either way. If you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to talk about it. I can talk for days. I can talk for days. Like this right here. This is one of the documents that I've heard a lot about, and this is the defendant's reply to the state's supplemental response regarding the defendant's motion regarding the grand jury records and transcript, right? It's a long-winded pleading that was filed by Bryan Kohberger and his team. The issue here is that in this document, he is stating with impunity that there is exculpatory evidence. BHP doesn't bite. Well, you never know. You never know. You never know there, Karen. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But in this particular document, you know, I've been reading a lot of, stuff out there. And many of you know, like I've got this stuff all printed out. The whole entire file I have printed out so I can grab it and read it on the go whenever. And I don't have to come online. I don't have to worry about trying to read it on my little phone. I have it in the flesh. I have it paper copies of all this stuff. And I go through it and I highlight it and I read it. And this one basically is stating that there is exculpatory evidence for Bryan Kohberger. And my whole thing with this whole exculpatory evidence for Bryan Kohberger is, how does he know? How does this man know whether this exculpatory evidence exists? Right? How would he know? And then he started making me think in my brain, because I truly believe, right? He planted the sheath. I believe, well, not planted it. I believe he intentionally left it. I believe he intentionally left it to throw law enforcement off for whatever reason. I don't know the reason for it. But I know for a fact that he, well, I don't know for a fact, but I feel like he left it because he's so methodical. I don't see why he would have brought the sheath in. And not just brought the sheath in, but why it wouldn't have been secured in his pocket or on his belt loop. I truly believe that he literally left this here to throw the case off. I believe he cleaned. Let's think about this sheath. If we're looking at this sheath, there's a few things that I'm looking at. There's, we don't know when he received it, right? We have conflicting information out there from mainstream media about this knife sheath, right? On one hand, we're hearing that everybody basically believes he accidentally left it there. That's all we've ever heard. I have not heard them analyze or decipher whether or not this was left intentionally. Nobody has discussed it, but here on the Bullhorn Betty channel about this possibility of this intentional leaving of the sheath. But if we took the Dateline analysis and the Dateline perspective, and this is the one with Keith, starts with an S, I think. Anyways, on the Dateline, right? He basically said that his confidential sources close to the investigation basically stated that the knife and the sheath was purchased in Pennsylvania, and basically that Bryan carried, they didn't say it, but it's implied that Bryan purchased this sheath and knife in Pennsylvania and took it to Washington State University. Thank you, Keith Morrison. And if that was the case, then that bodes right in line with our analysis here on the Bullhorn Betty channel about, I believe the reason why he selected Washington State University is it was the furthest university from his house. We've had multiple lives on this channel about the other universities that had better PhD programs that was closer to his home than Washington State University. And so when you think that Washington State University is like the university, the furthest possible place in the United States, especially from the East Coast of the United States, it's the furthest place you can possibly go away from his home. And I always thought that was odd after learning who he was, about why he would go all the way to Washington State University in light of the better programs near his home. He seems like he would have researched the programs very well. It seems like he would have much rather been closer to his family, especially being somebody that doesn't make friends very well. That's, obviously he wanted to be alone and he wanted to be far away from his family. And I never understood that. But again, if we're going to the fact that the sheath and this knife were coming from Pennsylvania, whatever my theories are or whatever, but just the knife itself and the sheath being transported from Pennsylvania to Washington State University, you would anticipate more DNA getting on that item. Cross transfer, touching of clothes, you have all these different things that come along with traveling with a knife or with anything, right? A toothbrush, a pair of sunglasses, my earrings, right? When they're in that bag, they're touching a lot of stuff. It's cross contaminating each other. It's moving DNA from one item to another. So you would anticipate that there would have been more DNA evidence on that knife sheath, but there wasn't. There was only this tiny, tiny molecule of DNA that came back as a hit to Bryan Kohberger. And so with that being said, I always thought that sheath was clean, because think about it. Even him taking that sheath out of, or the knife out of the sheath, he would have done that prior to being at this home. Would he have constantly touched that knife only with gloves? He could have been that. He could have been that disciplined to do that. Of course he could have. But I don't believe, as meticulous as he is, that he would have inadvertently left that sheath there. I truly believe it was left there for a reason. And because I believe that, and then we're hearing in this response that he knows there's exculpatory evidence that the state has not produced to him, it makes me wonder, what else did he plant? Like, right? And that's my speculation, right? I'm assuming he planted something there. It doesn't mean he did, but it makes me wonder, right? It makes me wonder. I feel in my heart and in my soul, he intentionally left that sheath there. What else did he intentionally leave there? And even if that's not true, or nobody wants to acknowledge that he could have potentially left that there intentionally, it's still something we should discuss, no? And it's something I just really would love to hear our legal minds and legal professionals look at this from the lens of, what if he left that sheath there intentionally? And if he left the sheath there intentionally, what other stuff did he leave there intentionally? Because they're definitely stating that they know Let me find that in this particular. Give me just a second. Actually, let me just read. I'll just read it so I don't have to. So you guys don't have to be here in silence. We'll read it together because I'm having to read it to find the spot that I need to show you. So I might as well read the whole thing to you for the people that haven't had an opportunity to read it. So it basically says, "Come now, Bryan C. Kohberger, by and through his attorney, Ann C. Taylor, public defender, and hereby replies to the state's supplemental response to the defendant's motion regarding grand jury record and transcript. The state argues that Mr. Kohberger is only entitled to the audio recording and the transcript of the grand jury proceedings and the grand juror notes, but no other enumerated items set forth in Idaho Criminal Rule 6. The state also objects to the qualified protective order, referring instead to keep requested materials protected by adherence to the word sealed. Release of the grand jury proceedings governed by the rule and the statute are materials necessary to Bryan Kohberger's defense. Article 1, Section 8 of the Idaho Constitution, Idaho Criminal Rule 6, Idaho Code Section 19001, 2021, and 1201, and 1409. Provide authority for release to Mr. Kohberger. Good cause is not required, but exists to release all materials to Mr. Kohberger's motion as set forth below." And then it goes through a procedural background, which states Mr. Kohberger is indicted by grand jury on May 16th. He filed a motion to make available records of all proceedings of the grand jury pursuant to ICR 6.2, which we went over. And the motion requesting release of the grand jury material under qualified protective order on May 19, 2023. State then filed their state's response to defendant's motion regarding grand jury record and transcript and proposed order on May 30th, 2023. The parties were not available to reach an agreement regarding the release of the grand jury materials, which resulted in the state filing their state supplemental response to defendant's motion regarding grand jury records and transcript on June 6, 2023. The defense reply follows. And here's the argument. Mr. Kohberger has a legal right to challenge grand jury indictment, and the court should release all records requested in his motion. Mr. Kohberger faces charges of 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of burglary. Because of the first-degree murder charges, the state can file intent to seek the death penalty. After Mr. Kohberger's early January court appearance, counsel for Mr. Kohberger and the state planned a preliminary hearing for the week of June 26, 2023. A preliminary hearing would have allowed the defense to challenge evidence the state claims to have against Mr. Kohberger. The state, in its option, chose to proceed with a secret grand jury, which is their right. It's their right to do. A grand jury was impaneled at the time when a small community of Moscow, Idaho had been exposed to 6 months of intense local and national and international media coverage. Because the state has provided extensive discovery, Mr. Kohberger knows, here it is, that exculpatory evidence exists. When a fair and impartial panel of grand jurors was assembled amidst the intense media coverage is a significant question to the defense must evaluate. And it says ICR 6.7, ICR 19-1003. And then it also cites State versus Roberts. Whether inadmissible or exculpatory evidence was presented to a grand jury is a significant question to the defense must evaluate. And this is related to ICR 6.28, 6.6, and IC 19-1107. And while there are many legal arguments Mr. Kohberger may pursue related to the grand jury proceeding, how the grand jury was selected and what evidence was presented illustrates good cause for the defendant's need of all materials set forth in its motion. I don't believe they're going to be able to get all the requests that's set forth in their motion, because it is very clear that this grand jury is secret. It is very clear in the statute what the defense is entitled to. And it appears that they're entitled to the transcript, and they're entitled to the audio and visual. They are not entitled to the deliberation. And I'm not sure if they're even entitled to the notes, the jurors' notes. But they might be, and it's up to the judge to decide that for them as to what they are truly entitled to. But when I was reading the grand jury stuff, it didn't appear that they would have been entitled again to. Let me see if I can find it. It just doesn't seem like they would have been entitled to the material, any other material besides the transcript. Where's my? Did I close it all out? Did I? No. Okay, what is this? Impartially decorum. 3.6 is the trial publicity. No, that's not it. That's not it. No, that's not it. Yeah, I think I did close it out. Shoot, I didn't mean to. I really didn't mean to. Idaho Victims' Rights and Laws. Okay, it looks like I did close it out. So I'm going to have to look that stuff up again for you guys. But we did pull this stuff up, and they are talking about certain stuff. So while there are many other legal arguments Mr. Kohberger may pursue related to the grand jury, they're just wanting to get the information. But again, I don't think it's going to happen. Let me see. Idaho grand jury material. Okay, it looks like it's under that Title 19. That's where it was. Control fines, the grand jury transcripts. I have transcripts in here. Let's see if I can find it. This is what I'm looking at. I'll pull this up on here. There you go. Requirements of indictment. So 1409 says the indictment must contain the title of the actions, specifying the name of the court which the indictment is present and the name of the parties. Statement of facts continuating the offense, constituting the offense in ordinary and concise language. So they're talking about the indictment. I want to know what the defense, and I know they had the rule up here and we went over it. I knocked it down, and I'm sorry for that. But either way, that basically what the grand jury information was and what the Bryan Kohberger is entitled to. We read it, and it basically said that they're not entitled to the deliberations. They're not entitled to a lot of the think, oh, it's not working in the car. Well, I find that Southern Grammy Wolf, I find that you have to enable, if you're on your phone, you have to enable the video, you have to enable the audio, and typically it doesn't work well. I guess it does work well on Chrome as well as Safari, but on my phone, it only works on Safari. So I don't know if that helps. But I'm trying to find out where that information was. Let me go back to their there we go. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. There we go. So we'll go back to this one. So this grand jury was in panel. Let's just keep reading and see what else it has in here that might be interesting to us. Mr. Kohberger is entitled to pursue relief on a single error or cumulative errors. To determine if there was cumulative errors, good cause exists to review all the requested in his motion. Cumulative errors exist when cumulative efforts of the errors and indiscretions, none of which alone might have enough to tip the scale. So they're basically saying this might not be enough to tip the scale, but I can tell you she's not going to be successful in throwing out the indictment. I don't believe that. I never believed that. She's not going to be successful, but I don't think it's one of those things where she cares to be successful in throwing out the indictment. I think her motivation is the stay of the case. I think she's trying to delay. Miss Nine, it's nice to see you. The mention of exculpatory evidence should be primary focus. Defense is entitled to grand jury materials. They're entitled to grand jury materials, but they're entitled to limited grand jury materials. They're not entitled to everything. Let me see. Golly, I can't remember. Let me just go up here. Maybe it's the 6.2 rule that we've read. Hold on. That's what it was. 6.2 Idaho, and I've already got it right here. The transcripts to the grand jury. So here, let's go ahead and read this for those that are just tuning in. And this is related to the grand jury. Let me get this bigger for you so you guys can read along. And so what the defense is entitled to when it comes to this grand jury proceedings is records of proceeding. The district judge or the presiding juror must designate someone to report or electronically record all of the proceedings of the grand jury. Let me blow this up a little bit bigger for you guys so you guys can read this. There we go. That person must be sworn to correctly report all of the proceedings and not to divulge any of the information to any person except on the order of the district judge. On taking the oath, the person must be permitted to attend all sessions except deliberations. So they can attend all sessions except deliberation of the grand jury. On the conclusion of each matter presented to the grand jury, the court clerk must seal the record of the grand jury proceeding, and the record must not be examined by any person or transcribed except on order of the district judge. So yes, they are entitled to some stuff, but it's very limited in nature. And here's the availability of records of the grand jury proceeding. The district judge, by motion, must permit the following persons to listen to the record of the proceedings of the grand jury or to obtain a transcript of the proceedings in the same manner as transcript of the preliminary hearing. So, who's entitled to the availability of records? A prosecuting attorney, a person charged in an indictment, or their attorney for the person charged. So Bryan Kohberger is what is he entitled to? Let's read this again. The person, these following people are entitled to the proceedings, are entitled to listen. Okay, listen. This is what's in the statute. The following persons are permitted to listen to the record of the proceeding of the grand jury, or, see that? Not and, they have or to obtain a transcript of the proceeding. Who is entitled to these things? The prosecuting attorney, Bryan Kohberger, and his attorney. A person charged with perjury because of the person's testimony before the grand jury. So if, like Kayla Montgomery, remember Kayla Montgomery and the Adam Montgomery, she was charged with perjury because she went to the grand jury and lied to them for Adam Montgomery. She would be entitled to hear or listen to the proceedings or to receive the transcript of the proceedings. So those are the three people. There's three. 1, 2, 3. 3 people are allowed to listen and or be provided the transcript. To listen or be provided the transcript according to the rules. The district judge may place conditions on the use, dissemination, or publication of the record of proceedings of the grand jury, and any violation of any condition by party granted access to the record will constitute contempt of court. Southern Granny Wolf wants to call in. Give me just a second. Give me just a second. There was my. Okay, we got this on. But yes, you can call in. There it is. And it's open. Oh, let me get this over here. There we go. And it's open. It's open for you folks. I'm going to have to rewind to find out what's happening. So, Sean, I can go ahead and provide you some information. Give me just a second. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty. It's Southern Grammy. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good. Once I got to the office, I was trying to StreamYard, but it wasn't working for me in my car. So
Yeah, some of those are really tricky, and they're really tricky when it comes to the apps, because I remember the first time I used StreamYard, it took me like an hour. I was out in front of who was it? Colin Knapp's house, and I was trying to run StreamYard for the first time from my phone, and it took me like an hour, and I was scared half to death because it was dark out. I'm like watching the house. I'm trying to get out to do a video, and I can't and go live because I'm scared. I don't want to be out there by myself, and I couldn't get it to go live. So it took me like an hour, but I was able to get it to go live.
well, hey, just to backtrack a tiny little bit, because I was driving when you were talking about the young lady who put her baby in the garbage can.
Yeah.
If you see the pictures of her, it is very obvious she was pregnant. She even had a cheerleading uniform. She was a cheerleader, and it was very obvious there was a baby bump. So I've kind of followed that a little bit. And her mom's quite the actress, because there's no way. And if she had back pain and you're just showing up at the hospital, you've got baby daddy's mom, stepdad, mom. It just makes zero sense that nobody knew, and nobody in the school, none of her friends, baby daddy. It's just extremely sad. And I saw an interview with the housekeeper that cleaned up the bathroom, and when you hear about the mess that she found, she even said there were bloody footsteps outside the bathroom door. There's just no way. There's just,
and I understand
zero.
that young girls, they're probably scared, especially if they're pregnant and whatnot. But like this girl, like her baby's gone, and she's going to forever have to deal with the repercussions of this. This is never going to go away for this young girl, ever.
Well, she didn't seem too traumatized when she turned around and went to prom with baby daddy, and still was able to carry on like she's not in jail. Did graduation and prom and such not. So, I mean, I really hope that the family will get her some help, because she literally got back in bed and just was like nothing had happened. And I, frankly, having had a child, I absolutely don't know how she even left the bathroom, and nobody knew any different, and how she even had that baby in the bathroom and nobody hear anything. But apparently she's got a real good, as I like to say, pit bull of an attorney, because he's basically going malpractice at the hospital. So this is going to get interesting, just to kind of see what those arguments will be.
Yeah, I like the legal arguments, honestly. A lot of people think I'm a little cray-cray, but I like the legal arguments, because it really does, it kind of broadens you. A lot of people, like, with all this stuff going on, people saying, with me personally, and listening online, like, oh, you're going to be able to countersue and do this. Like, this is all about evidence. Like, you have to have admissibility. There's going to be a lot of evidence that they have against this lady that's not going to be able to make it to court.
Oh, for sure. And the thing is, like, I kind of knew when I first saw Dolly's thing, like, I knew what it was going to be, just, and when I was listening, and I mean, he made the most sense. Just shut up.
Yeah.
Like,
they're not making themselves any better. And not only that, but they're making their situation much, they think it's a joke. I mean, does this look like a joke to you, this is no joke. They think the judge is going to throw, the judge is not throwing this out. They think that the judge is going to wag their finger at me. I mean, these people are literally delusional.
Yeah, I was in the thing and somebody was like, I could write a better. And I was just like, no, you can't, like making comments. And I'm like, no, like.
She's up shit's
we won't
creek
get
without a
into all
paddle.
that.
And, she's laughing about it now. But when she talks to her attorney for the first time, he's going to let her know very, very quickly, this is very, very seriously. And she better start taking it as such.
See, and I watch a lot of this, and I'm more of the, I want to learn the legal I don't know, because I used to work in legal a ways back. And I mean, to some extent, I dabble with some legal stuff because I'm a claims adjuster. So there are some legalities I get to deal with. But like, I like the learning aspect of, okay, I wouldn't have thought about that. Oh, that's how they're going to play this. Okay, let's see if how that works, or what does this kind of, what's this been tried before? What happened with this before? That's why it's been very, as soon as the Valo thing with the no cameras and stuff came up, I'm like, this is going to get hit up somewhere else down the line. This is going to bite us in the butt somewhere else down the line. Yeah. But it's those type of things. And then like with this gag order and stuff, and kind of seeing like how they argue it. Like I loved listening to Gray argue it, because I'm like, there were some things that I wouldn't have thought of, but that's why I'm not an attorney. I wanted to be at one point, but that's why I'm not an attorney. Plus I'm just not an arguer, but it's so
I'm an arguer. I'll argue. I'll plead my case any chance I get.
I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of person. Like I used to summarize depositions for attorneys and different stuff, but I kind of like the more laid back side of it, but it's very intriguing to me. It keeps my mind thinking. So that's why I got sucked in to like watching you, because sometimes, other channels, they're just talking about what they're seeing, but you sometimes get into those other things that someone might not think about if they don't come from that legal mindset. Or sometimes you bring up stuff and then I'm like, okay. And sometimes I'll look back at things you're referencing and going, okay, I get where she's going with this. So for me, it's kind of that I'm motivated by learning. And sometimes my job can be a little monotonous sometimes. So I like that still gives me that aspect of being motivated by learning different little things. And plus it's been many years since I've done law. Plus I did mostly family, like bankruptcy and divorce.
Oh God, I talk about hitting a head against a hard surface. Wills, trusts, bankruptcies, estates, and guardianships. You want to talk about a snooze fest? That's the kind of law you need to get into. If you are not an exciting person, that's the perfect law for you. I couldn't do it.
I had to get out. I was just like, how many times can you hear somebody's budget and how they don't waste their money? And I'm not trying to judge.
Right.
I've had to do my own things. I've had to learn because I wasn't taught growing up about how to handle my finances. So that's a whole nother story. But yes, very boring. And especially because the attorney I was working for did uncontested divorces. Mm-hmm. So they're really boring as long as everyone's signing on the dotted line. But every once in a while you get one that you think's going to go that route. It starts getting juicy and you've got to like tell them, hey, we're not going to do that. So we can refer you to someone. But, it's been a long time. So things have changed so drastically, and especially with, social media and now all these different things that we're facing out there. So it's those type of things that I want to see. So I was very intrigued when I was hearing this young lady's attorney start saying, the things he was saying. So for that side, I kind of want to see the direction that goes. It's just very sad, especially being in a hospital. She could have literally just pulled that call cord and been like, hey, I don't want it. Here you go.
I know. Somebody, this child would have been alive. And I'm thinking, what about her boyfriend? Did her boyfriend even know she was pregnant? And how does his family feel about this? I mean, there are some people that are very, like, my family's very religious. I'm sorry, but you have a baby, the family, steps in. We all put our we all take care of what we need to take care of as a family. And I can't imagine if one of my cousins, one of my siblings, did this, how, the family would react. It's like, we're all here, you can't, like, this is like, she would probably be the scarlet letter in the family if you injure one of our kids.
Well, and him and his mother were there, which was one of the things that a few of us were saying, if she went strictly for just having some back pain, why is it that the boyfriend's mom, the stepdad, like all these people were there? Now, granted, maybe they came in after the fact. Like, we don't know if they came in.
Right. We don't know when.
What we're seeing.
Yeah.
Maybe they kind of followed in once they knew something was going on. I don't know. But him and the boyfriend and the mom, and then, some of the stuff being put out there that she still turned around and went to prom, there's no way he didn't know. Like, honestly, if you see the pictures of her, she's most definitely pregnant in the pictures, even in her cheerleading uniform.
So is this something where the boyfriend and girlfriend decided together that this was going to be? Because if that's the case, I don't see why she should be standing there by herself.
Well, and see, that's just it. Like, we're not going to know if, because everyone was playing, oh, I don't know. And he didn't really say much in the clips I was seeing. I didn't look up, obviously, the entire, body cam or anything, but the stuff, he just kind of looked like a deer in the headlights.
Right.
But who knows who decided what? But I will say, there's no way you're going to convince me that nobody knew she was pregnant. I mean, there was her in her cheerleading outfit. She was most definitely pregnant.
And parents aren't paying attention.
I mean, what about the school, her friends? Like, it was just, and these, from what I understand, were pictures in November. Anyways, like, she was most definitely in that cheerleading uniform and had a nice sized baby bump. There was a couple other pictures someone posted, but that's the one that I was just like, how did the entire school not know? And, I come from the age where if you got pregnant at school, like, they were trying to send you to alternative school because they didn't want that to seem okay and cool and catch on,
Yeah, but you know what? This day and age, right? This day and age, though, we're talking about this day and age where they allow the schools allow them to block the parents out of their medical. Like, sorry, I would have a fit if my school allowed my children to have medical procedures without my knowledge. Like, no, this is my child. But this day and age, they advise these kids to sneak around and do stuff behind their parents' back. When we went to school, you weren't taught that by your teachers. You were taught to listen to your parents.
Legit. And the thing is I think about, I did cheerleading back in the days. I mean, we didn't do all the elaborate stuff, we were a little small team, but I can't even imagine the risk of doing some of that, assuming she's doing regular things, that could have been as being as apparently pregnant as she appeared. But, that could have been on the school, because had she been injured, she's pregnant, they're allowing her out there to do that. But that's, just my mind thinking.
Yeah.
But there's just so many things with this. But yeah, I can't even imagine, because I remember I went back to college at 32, and there were younger kids, obviously, in my class. I call them kids. I probably shouldn't. I mean, obviously, they were 18 and up. But
they're still kids to us.
It amazed me when one of them said, because they were doing very poorly, and I was trying to be kind of like encouraging, and they were like, my parents can't see my grades. I'm like, if my mom was paying for my school, because this parent was obviously paying for a good portion of this young lady's schooling, my mom would definitely be getting my grades. And this whole, well, you're an adult and you're not entitled, I absolutely could not understand that concept, because I was 32 when I went back to school, and most definitely my mom was asking me about my grades, and I was sharing them willingly. And even if I had done poorly in class, I'm just going to own it.
Yeah, keep talking, but I keep hearing things. I think the roofers are here for some reason because I'm hearing stuff above my head, and nobody knocked on my door. So keep talking about your stuff. I'm listening. I just got to go this way.
Okay. Well, hopefully they'll get that roof fixed for you, but yeah, for sure, the whole not being able to tell. I feel like as long as you're a dependent on your parents' taxes, they have a right to know. That's just my personal opinion, and so many of these parents now, they can cover their kids on insurance until they're 26, but they don't have a right. It just doesn't fly very well.
Holy crap! The stuff I'm listening to. Guys, the roofers are here. I'm like, what?
Yay!
What is this noise? I'm like, wait a minute. My neighbors next door are noisy. So and they work on their vehicles. So I'm deaf in one ear, so I never know where the noise is coming from. And I'm like, somebody sounds like they're on my roof. And I kept hearing knocking while you were talking, and I'm like, I don't know if you guys can hear them. Like they're chopping and they're bonk, bonk, bonk. I'm like, what the flip is that?
Well, Andrea, I got to run into the office, but I just wanted to get a chance to chat.
Well, thank you for keeping my audience entertained while I was. Well, I realized I got roofers on my roof.
Well, I hope they get it fixed really quick, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
All right. God bless you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Yay! The roofers are here. The roofers are here. I know, right? Like, I kept hearing stuff. I never want to interrupt, especially Southern Grammy. I have to talk to her. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad the roofers are fixing it. It's pouring down rain here in Tennessee.
It rained here all day yesterday. Literally all day.
Yeah, so it's pouring down. We're going to have several days of it. We need the rain, but it's pouring down.
Yeah. So what's going on? I haven't had a chance to talk to you. Last week was not my best week. This week I'm still in a lot of pain, but I'm dealing with it. I'm dealing. So how have you been? What's been going on in your world?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. You got a lot of things going on with the church and trying to get some things ended, taken care of with that way. And then of course Mom, she needs care, and we're trying to keep her at home as she wants to be, but it's really hard. I tell you why, because it's more than what you can do, really.
I gotta tell you.
So it's
my mom took care of my grandfather, and she was going through a horrible divorce with my father at the time. She had her dad staying with us, and my grandfather, and she tried her best. And I got to tell you, it's hard. It's so hard. Sometimes it's and he ended up having to go to a home, but she was there every single day. And she couldn't take care of two young girls that were going crazy, and a divorce, and then her father. It was really rough, and that was for a very determined woman.
And trying to get this YouTube channel going up, which I feel like we're slow. We're doing slow, but and thank you so much what you did. Mm-hmm. I really appreciate that. Appreciate the kindness of you and that, but it's just been one thing, it's been another, and it's a rainy day today, and I happen to catch you. I don't get to sit down and really take it all in a lot of times and watch every minute of it. I try to watch what I can. If I can, I'll put earphones on to do other things, and try to, because I really enjoy following you guys. Mm-hmm. It kind of gives me a different direction. Instead of it makes it more civil in some ways of what I have to deal with.
Yeah, I know, really, right?
You think what you're doing, this is crazy, but life's crazy.
Yeah,
You know,
it's all about the adventure. I like adventures, you know, sometimes I should say. I seem to always get the adventures when I really am not up for the adventure.
well, they had yesterday. I watched some of it. My wife and I was sitting here together on this Father's Day, and I had that seeing the kid and our daughter and spend a little time with her, and they had a Columbo marathon.
Yeah.
And I always enjoyed Columbo. I mean, because it, like what you was talking about, it made you, the lady that just talking before, it made you think. And there's so many times in this, which is life is true, you remove something happens, you pull one thing out, it changes everything. Make a move, and it changes everything. It's kind of like the my favorite movie, and I watch it every Christmas Eve. It's a Wonderful Life, and Jimmy Stewart played in. It's a Wonderful Life, and he was thinking he didn't amount to nothing, and it'd been better off he hadn't even been born.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then they showed him that this took place because his part of it, his life did matter, and looking at each one of these cases, what really happened. Someone did something or didn't do something, changed the whole direction of the outcome of what happened. And I'm sure each one of these cases, we could look at the landfill situation.
I don't mean to laugh at you, but these roofers have got to be like directly over my head.
I love it. I think it's time. Wake up. Go. Put that part of music. Wake up. Look up. The roofers are here.
The roofer, I know, and it's funny because when they brought the rollout here, I didn't get the message until like 2 days later. I'm like, and I didn't get the message that we got roofers coming today either, and I probably won't get it until later today. So, no figure.
Yeah, but what I was trying to point out is that the Georgia Leilani, or how you say her name?
Leilani Simon.
And her mother, if she had not done what she did, that one could have been a different outcome.
Yeah.
But by her bringing the child and putting it right back in the situation that was a problem, caused all that, and for her not to be held accountable for that, I hold her more accountable than anybody in that whole thing.
Yeah.
Because if she hadn't have done what she did, the child, I mean, it would have been better for the child to have had an opportunity to be adopted into another family and another opportunity. But she goes fights.
Mm-hmm.
From everything that I've seen and followed, mostly I followed you guys, you and Dolly, some, but what I've seen that took place, she went and fought for custody, and then put the child back in the danger zone. And that's what I was trying to say. One move, the court system, that right there. I hold her in my mind more accountable. I love your what do you call it, the sound in the background. Yeah.
The sound in the background right now is roofers peeling up my old roof.
Yeah. It sounds like beating drums.
I can't even concentrate on what you're saying. They're literally right above my head.
Yeah.
I feel like if they make the wrong step, I'm going to be holding one in my lap.
Well, I hope they don't come through the season.
All right, guys. Well, I guess the roofers.
I'm going to get out of here.
All right. Love you. Have a great day. I'll get you an update next week. We're getting stuff back together. I'm feeling better, but last week was just it was bad. It was bad. And so.
Talk to you later.
All right. Take care. God bless. All right, I'm gonna turn the phones off because honestly, I can't concentrate. Like they're literally, you guys hear this, and you guys are hearing it on the computer. I can tell you, it probably sounds about 100 times louder than what you guys are listening to online. So we're already at the top of the 2 hours, about an hour. We got an hour and 40 minutes that we were in. I just want to tell you guys, I love you. Just trust and believe. This is this whole situation that's going on is no joke. I think that once they come to reality that this is truly, she's being sued and we are going to move forward. I don't want to talk about the lawsuit anymore. I'm not going to address it here online anymore, but just know that what you're hearing from these people that are not attorneys and their analysis of a litigation, again, that they're not attorneys for and have no understanding of the law, I would really suggest and hope that the people out there suggest that this young lady get herself an attorney, an actual attorney that can advise her appropriately, because this is no laughing matter. I hope she's not taking this as a laughing matter, which it sounds like she is. But, sorry, there's a lawsuit, you're acting a fool. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to answer for that. You're going to have to answer a lot. So keep listening to your friends on your panel. Keep laughing all you want. And when you talk to that attorney and realize how serious this lawsuit is, hopefully you take notice. And that's my final words on this topic. We're not going to address it, and we're going to let this be played out in the legal system, in the court of law. And this idea that I have no jurisdiction to bring other co-defendants into this claim is ridiculous. And there always is a law that prescribes how to bring other people from out of state into it. So again, I would suggest these people take this lawsuit very seriously. This is a serious lawsuit, and I am seeking massive damages and will continue to do so. All right, guys, take care. God bless each and every one of you. You're more than welcome. If you'd like to support this channel, please consider becoming a member. We also have ways of supporting this channel financially through Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal. Please take care. God bless you. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, be kind to one another. Good day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.